Hiss is a game that I picked up kind of by chance. I was hanging out in downtown Bloomington with my 4-year-old. We were waiting for mom to pick us up after she was done with shopping. We had kind of like an hour to kill. So I stopped at the friendly local game store with my daughter, and we picked up a game that could be played quickly, and we could play in the meanwhile. Hiss, a game about colorful snakes, was our pick. The rules are pretty simple and pretty short, as it very well should be for a children game. This definitely is a game that is geared toward children age 4, 5, 6. I guess a little older, but much after that probably the children will lose interest in the game. These are all the rules. The game is a big deck of tiles representing parts of snakes in various colors. There are some heads, some tails, and a lot of middle section of snakes. The tiles are of good quality. They're sturdy, but not super thick. I would say they would take a decent amount of love and wear from enthusiastic children, but not a huge amount. How does it work? You shuffle all of the tiles together, you make a pile, or you can fan them out as the rules suggest. I recommend not doing that because then children start making a mess. I want that card. A stack, the children can work with a stack. There's nothing wrong with a stack. So you stack them, you fan them, do whatever you like with them. Then once you're done, once you're ready, a player draws an initial card, places it in the middle of the play area, and that's the initial card. The game is ready to start. When it is your turn, you draw a random tile. If the tile that you drew matches any open ending of one of the tiles on the table, then you can place the tile attached to the previous tiles. The borders don't have to match spatially, only the colors have to match, so you don't have to do like this. So with this tile, I could put it there, or I could put it there. You can place the tile attached to any open ending of any open snake. If you draw a tile that has no matching colors, like in this case, I cannot attach it anywhere, then you simply put it on the table to start a new snake. It's pretty much that simple, like this. Make another snake. Hooray! Oh, no matching things, so we start a new snake. If you draw a tile that allows you to connect open parts of a snake, for example, if I drew a tile that was blue on one side and yellow on the other one, then you can connect snakes together. When you complete a snake, and a snake is a snake that has at least a head, a body section, and a tail, then you simply grab the snake and you place all of the tiles that form that snake in your play area. Those tiles now are yours. You simply keep playing, drawing tiles, forming snakes, starting new snakes, connecting snakes into longer sections. Well, for example, now I could connect this section here with this big snake that I'm making here. There we go. Could connect like this. Oopsie. Like that. So you keep playing, connecting, making and completing snakes, grabbing snakes until you run out of tiles. And at that point, there are snakes on the table that have not been completed. Well, that's too bad. They simply stayed it. So at the end of the game, once you run out of those tiles, players simply count the tiles that they grabbed during the game from completing snakes. And that's it. The player with the highest amount of tiles is the winner. Very simple, super simple. Definitely too simple to play this with your adult friends. There are some games that work well with little children and they still double as decent, occasionally even good games to play with your buddies, with your adult buddies as a filler. Not this one, because there really isn't almost any strategy involved. I guess that when you have several snakes on the table, then you can choose, you can try to figure out if adding a tile to a snake rather than another, if the opportunity arises, will give you better chances of completing a snake. I guess you can try to figure out if if joining two sections of a snake in a gigantic snake is a good idea, because of course then that is then worth a lot of points, but if the opponent gets it. But these things feel I don't know, you need to count tiles, I guess. It's just too much work to really make it worth. What you do is you draw a tile, and if it works, you attach it somewhere, and if it doesn't, you start a new snake, which is not super exciting for adults, but my 4-year-old really enjoys it. And actually there's some skill development that is involved in this. When there are several open snakes, sometimes my daughter takes a while to check them all before being sure that that the new tile doesn't go anywhere, that a new snake can be started. Sometimes she overlooks that, and I recommend and I make a suggestion. Are you sure that you really check? Are you sure that there are no matching snakes? And just emotionally, when the snake is completed, that's a huge moment. She's really happy when she can grab some of these enormous snakes. It gets a little annoying that the snakes grow in ways that you can't really predict, so sometimes you have to move them around, but even that actually is not too bad if you're playing the game with a 4-year-old. There is some coordination in having to move and reform a snake. My daughter enjoyed that. She definitely wasn't bothered by it. There is color matching that is part of the game, and there is some counting. Of course, there's counting at the end of the game when you're trying to establish who the winner is. So this is definitely not a game that you will want to play with your adults, but if you're thinking of a present to give to a 4 or 5-year-old, a game that can be played with small children, it doesn't take too long to play, it doesn't feel like it's dragging. Now, I'd say this is a better option than a lot of other games of this type that you would find out there. Hiss by Gamewright, a really nice looking game. I guess another advantage, another plus is that you can get your children curious about nature. Then, say, after you play the game, you can read a book about snakes. That's another good advantage, to get them subliminally interested in science and biology and animals. But in general, this is a pleasant game. I'm definitely happy I added it to my collection. It wasn't too expensive. It was like $12. And for what you get, for the amount of tiles that you get, and for the quality of the components, the price is quite right. Actually, I would say is definitely on the inexpensive side. Hiss by Gamewright. Not for everybody, not for you, but for you and your little ones, this could be a good game.